It's day 10 here at the Paralympics 2024 in Paris. And you join us at the beautiful city of Paris and the North Paris Arena, just one stop away from the Charles de Gaulle Airport. This is the home of the amazing sitting volleyball, and you join us here for the bronze medal match in the women's competition. Well, the crowd is filling nicely as we get ready for this session. It's the women's bronze medal match, and it's Canada against Brazil. It's a replay of the bronze medal match in Tokyo. Alongside me, Mark Perkins, I have our three-time Paralympian and former USA captain, a lady who's played in this match herself, the wonderful Kendra Lancaster-Hall. What an amazing game this is, a repeat of Tokyo's medal match.
That it is, and it's going to be a great match. I think both of these teams are on really good form. They're going to be eager to show the world what they're made of, and Canada want this so badly. They've been in this position a few times, but they haven't medaled yet. We'll see if they can do that today.
Well, those that are new to sitting volleyball, a very warm welcome. We'll talk you through some of the slight differences and the nuances of this sport with our amazing expert, Kendra, telling us all the things that we need to know as this game goes on. At the moment, the team's just going through their final preparations. They've been warming up on the warm-up course behind the scenes as we see the journey that they've taken. Both competing in the semi-final. Canada losing out to the People's Republic of China, losing that game 3-0. And Brazil lost to USA 3-1. That put them into the bronze medal match. Well, there's the journey so far. Canada with 2 wins and 2 losses in their journey. They played against Slovenia, Brazil, and Rwanda in the pool stages. Brazil with 3 wins, 1 loss. Just that 1 loss in the semi-final. They were undefeated in their pool stages against Rwanda, Canada, and Slovenia. The teams are warming up. They just have some time to familiarize themselves with the court, acclimatize themselves to the 3,500, nearly 4,000 in here already as this crowd starts to build in the North Paris Arena. We are just short of 9 minutes away from the first serve. The 2024 Paralympic Games sitting volleyball consisted of 8 teams in 2 pools. The top 2 teams then went into the semi-final. The losers of the semi-final then play in this match here, which is what we have your way. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect of some key players from Canada then, Kendra.
Yeah, this Canadian team, they're really young, they're really fast, they're really keen to prove themselves, but look out for Danielle ELLIS. She's number 3, and she's also their captain. She has 60 points already in this tournament. She's a big point earner for them, but also keep your eye on Peters and Oakes. Melenka, they've got a strong team all across the board.
Nicole Ban, the head coach, and we're going to see a lot of her. She gets very close to the court side throughout the rally and in between points, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. She stays right there every point of the way with her team. It's really nice to see.
There's the results. 3-0 win against Slovenia, lost against Brazil. So it's a replay of that match. And a win against Rwanda, 3-0. They came to the semi-final. They played really well against the People's Republic of China. Now, as we said, they've played against Brazil already. There's a replay of the bronze medal match. They played at the World Cup. Tell us a bit about what Brazil...
Well, Brazil are a huge offensive team. They've got a couple of really big players. They play really aggressively, so Canada are going to have their work cut out for them. We're going to see a lot of really key points from number 8, Suellen. She's an outside hitter, but she is a huge threat from the service line. She already has 18 aces in this competition, and there you see Duda. She's another threat. She's got 46 points, 28 of those are kills.
Fernanda Ramirez, the former head coach of the men's sitting volleyball team. The 2 coaches have switched teams. There's the results for Brazil. 3-0 against Rwanda, 3-1 against Canada, 3-0 against Slovenia, and 3-1, it was a defeat against the United States of America. Well, as these 2 teams have history as far back as a couple of days ago in the Paralympics, that was then. This is now. This is for the bronze medal match, isn't it?
It is, and this is a whole new ball game. They'll both be looking to start fresh here today.
Well, this bronze medal match is the best of 5 sets. The first 4 sets will be to 25 points. Should we need to go to a 5th and deciding set, that'll be a race to 15. And as the game goes on, Kendra and I will tell you a bit of the differences about how sitting volleyball is working, how the rules change as we welcome the two teams to court first of all, and we have the national anthems.
Merci de bien vouloir vous lever si vous le pouvez pour les hymnes, avec pour commencer l'hymne du Canada.
North Paris Arena, please rise if you are able for the anthem of Canada. And now the anthem of Brazil.
Well, the crowd enjoying both renditions of the national anthems here. This is the bronze medal match. It's Canada taking on Brazil. They met in the pool stages. Brazil took the title in that game by 3-1. But the formalities now just being completed. Brazil and Canada making their way across the net, shaking hands and exchanging keepsakes, as do the coaching staff. They'll be all smiles now. Come game time, this game will be about power, pace, speed and touch as these women go head to head for the bronze medal here in the Paralympics 2024.
Présentation des arbitres internationaux de ce match.
Please welcome our international referees for this bronze medal final.
Le premier arbitre représente la Bosnie-Herzégovine.
So before we bring the ladies out to court, introducing the match officials. Basic, very experienced city volleyball player and now referee. Here's the first referee with Ayan Rakhmetov from Kazakhstan. These will be looking out for net touches, lifts and handling calls. First of all, let's welcome out the team from Canada. Their starting lineup, one change from their semi-final. Julie KOZUN comes in. Danielle ELLIS with 60 points, one of the players to watch that Kendra talked about. Jennifer Oakes, one of the two key setters. She's alongside MELENKA wearing number 9. Watch those through the middle. Heidi Peters, a big powerhouse from the service line. And Allison Lang starts ahead of Felicia VOSS-SHAFIQ The Libero wearing the black and grey shirt. The defensive specialist is Jolan Wong, and the head coach is Nicole Ban. Unchanged for Brazil, as they have been for most of the competition. First of all, the big smile of Duda. Almost a high five as well into the camera. She comes into this game with 46 points. Alongside her is Filomena, the powerhouse of Suellen, wearing number 8. Number 10 is the captain, Petit, the tall blocker, 10 kill blocks to her name. And alongside her is Liana. And finally, number 18, Fioresi. The Libero is Gizele, wears the number 3 in the yellow shirt. She is a defensive specialist. And Kendra will tell us more about how important this role of the Libero is as this game gets underway. We're underway with the women's bronze medal match here at the 2024 Paralympic Games. It's Canada in the white shirts on the right, serving against Brazil in blue on the left. And it's Lang who comes up with a swing off the block to get the first point for the Canadians.
It feels so good to get that first point on the board for your team, especially if you can do that before your opponent. Lang really finding those high hands from Brazil. We're probably going to be seeing a lot of that today.
They've been waiting all day, patiently waiting to get this game underway. Big serve on the angle, quick reactions. And it is Fioresi, wearing number 18, who's the quickest to react in the middle.
Fioresi a bit lucky to get that ball over the net. She didn't really see where Canada was, but they were nowhere to be found, so that ball landed in their court.
Suellen with the big serve. Canada looking to get the options open wide with Heidi Peters.
Canada doing very well to come out aggressively. They're coming out swinging. They're really powering that ball through the Brazilian block. They're going to have to keep doing that. We'll see the Brazilians wake up and start to get some swings of their own, but for now, Canada are holding the momentum and they're controlling the energy of this match.
Lang makes a start and then sees that ball drip past her shoulder, split the defense. But there is lifting called here. Just explain to everybody if they're new to City Volleyball about lifting.
Yeah, so one of the key aspects of this sport is when players touch the ball, somewhere, some part of their torso has to be touching the floor. So whether somewhere between their hips and their shoulders, if they're not, and they often do, they'll get called for a penalty and the point gets awarded to the other team.
Nice line serve for Lang. No mistake this time by the captain, Petit. Lets the ball go across the first change of angle as well.
Yeah, and she's going to keep moving that ball around in the middle. Canada are going to be good blockers. They've got a couple of girls with a lot of reach, but if Brazil can keep their game really fast, they'll be able to move the ball around that fairly easily.
Gizele with the serve on 2. Now that's something we're going to see quite a lot of from Canada as well, between Melenka and Oaks, isn't it, when they're in the middle at front.
Yeah, both of the Canadian setters tend to set from the middle of the court. Now what that does is it allows them to move the ball from side to side along the net. That puts a lot of pressure on the Brazilian block, but it also puts them in good stead to attack on 2. Now Canada weren't successful on that one, but they'll keep looking for that opportunity.
Anything distract the block and just move that, find those options available out wide. Well, the service goes wide, and it is Melenka that goes back to serve, so Oaks will go front court now for Canada. That's a good pressure serve. In fact, it's an ace serve to the right side of Gizele. See the movement of the ball across. Canada lead 5-3. Another good pressure serve. Duda just keeping it alive. Now Canada have 3 players front court, and Oaks drives in quick on that middle attack.
Yeah, Brazil are going to have to kind of pull their game together. They're having a hard time getting good touches on that first ball. Even when they get it up, it's not really on target, which means their setter or their offense is going to have to struggle to return it.
Canada coming into this semi-final on the back of a 3-0 defeat against the People's Republic of China. But what a game that was for them. They really upped their level.
It was an incredible match. And normally I would say that when you come off of a loss in semifinals, it makes your job a little bit harder in your next match. But the way that Canada played, it was honestly the most aggressive and the best I've seen them. So hopefully what we can see here, they're really carrying that energy with them. They're coming out literally swinging. So that's it. They're doing exactly what they need to do here.
And MELENKA coming in there as a backcourt setter. Again, giving those options, splitting it wide for Heidi Peters. She's going to go back to serve. 15 aces already in the competition. One of the top female servers in the game. And she adds another there on the back line. Well, perfect timing there for Heidi Peters. Thank you.
Peters is so good. She's such a threat from that service line, especially when she can get it in. She's a very powerful server.
Likes to swing hard again from the other side. This one's come off the block and out of play. A second change in sitting volleyball here. Talk us through as the timeout comes in for Brazil, Canada leading by 5, about blocking the serve and how that works in sitting volleyball.
Yeah, so in standing volleyball, you're not allowed to block or attack the serve, but that is a really key element of the sitting game. Now, it's used really strategically for serve receive and servers. Obviously, for the server, it adds a little bit of extra complexity, but as a service receiving team, you can position your blockers to either filter the serve toward your stronger receivers or protect your less strong receivers, and it really adds a really interesting element of strategy to this game.
So a chance there for Fernando Guimaraes to have a chat with his team. It's been a strong start for Canada here, 9-4 in this bronze medal match. It's another good pressure serve. Quick reactions from Jennifer Oakes.
Yeah, that was a great reaction by Oakes there. Not only did she do a good job of covering that block, but she was smart enough to push that ball deep. She knew the receivers were starting to pull forward and help to cover there at the net. That ball tends to go short. So really good of Oakes to have that vision of the court and change things up a bit.
17 aces in total, 65 kilometers an hour, her fastest serve. When you're generating that speed, that's just coming through the hips, and there it is again. Another ace serve ripping through the Brazilian defense here. Duda looks to the coach. They change their formation now on the receive.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate error there by the Brazilian block. Now, I think Peters got a little bit lucky there. She's hitting the ball really hard, so it gives her a bit of an advantage, but the blockers on the Brazil side, they have to set those blocks. They have to hold them strong, or we'll keep seeing that happen.
Chance here for Laiana. She can't put it away. Ellis wants the option. Has it caught the hands of the net? It's just the net, no hands there. Point goes to Brazil.
Yeah, Ellis coming out, I think she wanted that ball really badly. She just overswung that a bit, didn't really make brilliant contact, but it's okay. They've got a really good margin here. Now, there's a lot of work for Brazil to do now.
Ellis, a beautiful swing down the line. And this is the distribution that Canada are doing well. She does automatically put her hand up through the net just to check on Filomena.
Yeah, that was a brilliant line shot. She really threading the needle there, pushing that nice and hard, and Filomena not ready at all. Hands on the floor, that hurt.
12-5, well, an impressive start for Canada. But Duda comes up, and she's dangerous, isn't she? In anywhere around the net, should I say. She's really dangerous at how she moves it side to side.
Yeah, Duda is a brilliant player at the net, and the thing that she does so well at is exactly what we just saw. She puts her hands up, she goes to play the ball, but she is so fast at changing her hands and shoving that ball over. She saw there was not a block in her way. She caught the Canadian defense off guard, and they're going to have to look out for that.
Pamela coming in for Laiana. She'll play along the back line, starting off with a serve. A little bit of confusion there for Canada, but KOZUN takes the second ball, and Lang finds the corner.
Canada's offense is just firing on all cylinders. You can see the depth of this team. They don't just have one or two big swingers, they have quite a few. Now they're doing everything right at the minute, and long may that continue if they want to win this match, but do not count Brazil out. They're behind by a few points, but this is a really experienced team, and they've got some strength of their own that they're going to be wanting to show off, just like we just saw from Suellen.
Well, Brazil are the bronze medalists from Rio and Tokyo, and they're yet to medal at the Paralympic Games, although they did get silver at the World Championships, so they are coming into some form. And that time together is really starting to show over this tournament. They've grown into it. And that's what tournament games are all about, isn't it, here at the Paralympics?
Yep.
The time you've got together.
Absolutely. I mean, they've been playing here for 10 days now, and we've really seen Canada on an upward trajectory. Now, Brazil played brilliantly in their semifinals against the USA. So they're also an excellent team. Now, they haven't found their rhythm and their momentum yet, but we'll see that soon, I have no doubt.
Suellen, it is, I guess, the point for Brazil. Judah goes back to the service line. She's got 9 aces to her name in her third Paralympic Games. Onto it goes, they're trying to find that corner again. They know Gizele stays up quite close to the 2-meter line.
This is a brilliant swing from Suellen. She's a really strong player, and look at that passion. It's amazing to see, and really, really smart play by her.
Well, we saw the timeout for Brazil earlier on and looked for a response. Well, they got the response, and now they've closed the gap back to 4 points. It's 9-13. Canada now having a timeout. Well, the crowd building and building here on day 10 of the 2024 Paralympics. And it's the bronze medal match time. Brazil looking to get themselves back into this first set. 9-13. Out wide, it's gone on the set. Good use of the feet for Brazil. Can touch any part of the body. Oakes looks at the options. It's gone wide again to Melenka. She's held in the left side position with Lang in the middle. And it goes again to Melenka, looking for the fingers. Does it get them? No. Oh, she's high and hard on the hands, wasn't she? That's what the aim was.
Yeah, she certainly was going for it. Brazil, I want to commend. They did a brilliant job of recovering that ball a few possessions ago. It was all going a bit pear-shaped, but they were able to bring it together, get a little bit of speed on that ball going back.
10-13, Judah. Steely focus through the net. Oakes to the back line. Canada having to change the way around the attack here now. Smart on two. I was about to say Melenka holding out on the left-hand side there for the firepower, but a really nice position and press.
Yeah, once again, doing a brilliant bit of offense there. There was no Brazilian block there. She found that hole in the defense in the back row. That was a super point.
Captain Ellis fires that serve long. Brazil will happily watch that sail past the end line.
Now, Canada are going to have to be careful here. They came out brilliantly. They put a really nice wedge of points between them and Brazil, but what we're seeing now is they're starting to make a couple of mistakes. They might be overplaying the ball a little bit, trying to do things, just working a little bit too hard, and Brazil are going to be able to return those balls. Now, they got a point here, but they've got to keep those errors down.
Well, they did have a lead of 7 points earlier on. See, just having a chat there, the head coach wasn't very happy about the handling and the lift not being called against Canada, but Sapasic, very cool and calm. Just has a quick look at the Brazilian coach there. The Brazilian coach puts his hand up, said, okay. Quick play from Canada. Brazil almost keep it alive, but it just travels wide. So fast, his pace.
It is fast, but this is a bronze medal match. You've got to come out swinging. You've got to come out strong. Because when one team starts winning a string of points, obviously that's getting the score up, but what it's also doing is it's kind of forcing your opponent to go down into a bit of a pit of despair almost. It's affecting them emotionally, which is then going to affect their gameplay. So the more that Canada can keep putting that speed on, the better they're going to be. That's a brilliant serve in between those receivers.
First ace for Lang in the competition. And that's enough for Brazil. They want their second time out. They trail by 6 points again. It's Canada 17, Brazil 11 here in the first set. There you can see the Brazilian fans in the yellow and green right behind the team bench. And the decibels here at the North Paris Arena. Well, it's making the venue rumble, that's for sure. Canada serving 6 ahead in the first set. All that energy has been generated by the crowd. Got into the serve and Lang fires it long. She'll disappear. And Wong will come on. Just describe how important the Libero is for us. So the defensive player for the Gizele for Brazil and Wong for Canada.
Yeah, the Liberos are really important players for a lot of reasons, but mostly they're almost kind of playmakers. They're really quick. They're usually really quick reactors, so they're much more able to get under the ball and keep it off the floor, just keeping that ball alive and helping their team return it, get a set, get a hit, whatever.
This ball moving across the side of the net, just dropping in the open space for Brazil. Gizele, 3 aces so far, and she adds that here. She can't, it goes to Wong. Quick reactions. Another deep one for Canada. They are catching Brazil out there.
Canada are doing a brilliant job of using the entire court. It's something that's working really well for them. They're making the Brazilian defenders work really hard. They're making them move. They're making them read. They're doing a brilliant job of that.
Ellis with the error. She gasped as soon as she hit it, knowing that had gone long. So back to 3 now, 14-17. It's kept alive. Brazilian coach not happy again. A little push on to Wong. Onto it goes from Peters. Melenka's there at the net, and there's a little battle going on the net. She moves that to the left-hand side to get the point.
Yeah, that was really good of Brazil to return that ball, but Melenka does a brilliant job of going up, blocking, and just shoving that ball to the left. That takes it out of the hands of Petit, and it lands next to her. There's nobody there to cover it.
Melenka back to serve. Well, they're really starting to serve these balls. They're pushing Brazil deep, aren't they? Is that because of the high line on the defense?
Well, I think they're trying to push them deep, but what I think this is I think that this is emotion kind of running amok here. Canada had a really healthy lead. They're starting, Brazil are starting to etch away at that, and Canada are trying to make things happen. They've got to get their errors. They've missed like 3 serves in a row here, and that is it's something you really don't want to do. You're taking away your opportunity to put points on the scoreboard and giving an easy point to your opponent.
Gizele with the skills there on the feet. Can they turn that into a point? Canada scrambling at the moment. Not able to get a big attack away. Chance here for Brazil. It goes against them. Lifting called by the first referee. In the meantime, also, Bruna has just come on for Filomena. That's a point there that's been almost given to them. Canada weren't able to get the attack away, and Brazil forced into the error. '29-year-old Heidi Peters back to serve. Best server in the World Cup in 2023. And she's causing problems today, right from the very start. And they have a 5-point lead with 5 required.
Substitution for Brazil.
Diana coming back on for Pamela. Peters with 3 aces so far in this game. Make that 4.
Peters is such an asset to this Canadian team. She brings so much strength and speed. Look at that top spin, just nicking the back of that line. It's a perfect serve. And the other thing that she brings is she brings a real sense of intensity, of energy. She wants this so bad. You can see it in her face.
Balls come straight back. But Liana's been called for lifting on this block on the serve receive. She wasn't very impressed. Head coach wasn't either. Gizele makes it way, and Nuya comes on. A little change in the receiving positions for Brazil. Duda going back. And it's another ace.
These are crucial points for Canada.
How did Brazil stop this serve?
Well, the thing that they need to do first is they've got to penetrate that block over the net. They're big they're big players, they can reach, but they've got to get their hands over the net into Canadian airspace, so when that serve hits their arms, it deflects down on the Canadian side of the court, not theirs.
23-15. Oh, it's another one. She flicks that ball up, bends her back, and then wraps her hand around the top of the ball, the back of the ball.
I'm so impressed by Peters right now. It's one thing to go back to the service line and rip at a ball and get an ace. It's a completely different thing to do that over and over and over. 7 times she's done that. That's almost a third of Canada's points so far off of Peters' serves.
Again, another one. It's another ace! To take the set, 8 ace serves from Heidi Peters. Sensational serving from the Canadian. And Brazil at 6s and 7s here. Canada take the first set by 10 points, 25-15.
Please welcome to the court the fantastic Jazz Rock.
Well, let's have a look at the stats then here.
Well, look at those stats. 10 points to nothing in aces for Canada, and that's the set. That's the 10-point difference that we had at the end of that set. I was expecting Canada to come out really strong and really excited, but I certainly wasn't expecting that, and I think Brazil would probably be saying the same. Now, on the other side of the court, Brazil haven't found that rhythm. They haven't gotten their offense running. They've got Canada do have 8 errors. Brazil did make a few errors of their own. But more importantly, Brazil have got to lock down their blocks. They've got to be disciplined, but they also really need some passes so that they can run an offense.
Well, needless to say, Heidi Peters is the top point scorer. She's on 11, not just from the serve, but from her attacks as well. And she said, Canada will be a bit frustrated. They've let all those serve errors go. How many serves we've seen go long? He said there was 3 in a row earlier on as well. So luckily Peters is scoring from the service line, because otherwise they're not coming elsewhere.
Well, exactly, and I think that's something to keep in mind going into this next set is I think Canada, well, they didn't get lucky. Peters came in and she played her best and she got them a lot of points on the scoreboard, but if Brazil are able to shut her down, they're going to have to look elsewhere to get points, and we've seen a few good plays from a few players, but no one's really stepped up like Heidi Peters has.
So no ace serves, no blocks for Brazil either in that first set, which is very unlike them. And she said they're slightly taller and stronger in stature, but just haven't got that on the serve receive. They've struggled to get the ball over into the Canadian airspace, as you said. But in the game, Canada is it the speed from Canada that's caused the problems for Brazil? I
think that it's the speed from Canada, but I also think, Brazil at some points in that set kind of looked like a deer in the headlights, like, oh, what do we do? They've been thrown completely off their game. They're not communicating tremendously well. But I think what we're seeing is a real breakdown of discipline. It's technical discipline. Again, it goes back to the blocking. Your hands have to be over the net. You have to move. You have to talk. You have to go to the right places on defense. There's just all these, it's little things, but the combination of them all together is giving Canada the upper edge here.
Well, one thing we know about Brazil is they don't give up.
No, they certainly don't. They're, like I said before, they're a really aggressive team. They play with a lot of emotion, a lot of passion. Now, when they're on, that works tremendously in their favor. They're riding high on this wave of adrenaline. But in a situation like this where things aren't going their way, it can be a curse.
Here we go then, set 2 underway, Brazil serving. And do they get an immediate response? They do. The error from Peters. She is human after all.
She is indeed, she is indeed.
So Brazil, the first point, due to back to serve. They'll be looking to make an immediate response, both from the service line, but also in this defensive position. Paralympic tattoos on the arm of Duda, their previous competitions. Deflected off, first point for Canada.
Now, once again, look, if you can see Suellen's hands, they're not really in position. Her hands angled out of bounds. So when the Canadians hit that ball, it's going to bounce off and it's going to go out. Physics does that for you. So you've got to use physics to your advantage and give that right angle to make sure the ball lands in the court.
Good ricochet, and the captain squeezing that ball, deflecting off the block, just catching Allison Lang out of position ever so slightly.
Yeah, Petit bringing some much needed energy and power there. Hopefully that's going to give the Brazilians a little bit of a boost, and Suellen's on the service line. We'll be seeing more points like that from her, I'm sure.
Well, there's a pumped up Suellen, and with Petit at the net in the middle, she is the biggest, strongest blocker for Brazil. She now needs to get control of that game at the net and let Suellen do what she does backcourt.
Yep, that's exactly right. The blocker's job now is to protect Suellen's serve.
Well, this one's drifted over into Brazil's court, so they get a free touch. The Brazilian coach just walking out the shot there, but gave a little look to start off with, and the referee did blow the whistle.
It's amazing the difference that just a few points can make. Look at the body language on the Brazilian side now. They're all smiles, they're celebrating, they're talking to each other again.
They lead 4-1 here in the second set. Peters, she wants to unload. Oh, it's kept alive, good skills from Brazil. Chance for them to steal the point, can they? Filomena into the block. Lang says no, not yet. Great reactions. Love the reactions as well from the coaches. Both coaches very vocal to their team, always getting close to that sideline. Chase down here. Gizele's there. Well, that's an error coming in from Canada, but Brazil don't capitalize. Is it going to be costly for them? It is. Julie KOZUN.
Yeah, Canada have given Brazil a few opportunities here in overpasses, and they've not converted those into points, and look what's happened when they don't.
Petit automatically puts her hand up as soon as that ball ricocheted out, goes, sorry, that's my fault. She played the ball easy, deep 6. And the defender's there. Lang with a serve.
Now, those types of errors from Canada, they were a lot easier to swallow when they had a really nice lead over Brazil, but they're trailing now by 2 points. Brazil are starting to wake up. They really need to lock down their service errors. They need those serves in.
Gizele with the serve. Peters just waiting and waiting. You can see it's almost like a coiled spring waiting just to release.
That's a perfect explanation of her, and you can see her. She's a brilliant adjuster. She was in position, but the ball's a little bit further out than she thought. It's just one little scoot out, and she lets it rip. She is so talented.
Scramble here for Brazil. Judah dropping that one short onto MELENKA. Nice set out wide. Pamela goes cross court. Ricochets off the hand of KOZUN and back across the angle.
Yeah, that was a brilliant cross-court shot by Pamela there. The Canadian blocks were in position. She did really well to read that and see those hands, and she redirected the ball. That threw that defender off their game a little bit.
6-4. It's a high ball for the setter to deal with. A lot of time, and Peters puts it away.
Yeah, and I think Melenka gets a little bit of credit there. That was a really high ball. Now, that's great because that gives Melenka plenty of time to get under it, but for her to change the speed of that ball and just do a really nice quick set back to Peters, that's not easy to do. That's a sign of a really talented setter.
Let's see what happens on this service run from Peters. Brazil will be wanting to close it out if they can. ELLIS comes up with the goods out wide. That's a really good swing.
Huge swing, huge swing. And you can see Duda in the middle. She really struggled to get out and close with Filomena. That ultimately left that net wide open for Danielle ELLIS. She had her choice of shots there.
And level the game at 6-all. Peters' eye on the ball. Rips another serve.
That's a beautiful pass by Gizele.
Rotation error called against Brazil. The point goes to Canada.
So a positional error has been given against Brazil here in the rotation. The team's just being called over. The second referee has seen that they were the wrong way around. So the second referee has a tablet on the post which shows him the rotations and where the player should be. Brazil don't have that. Just caught themselves out of rotation here. That's a free point to Canada.
I mean, an error like that, not only does that give a free point to Canada, but that really disrupted Brazil's flow. They were finally starting to get somewhere.
On two. Good dig out. First let of the game.
Yeah, a lot of credit to Duda there. She's going up against Canada with just the one hand, but she's able to hold her nerve. Now, when that ball sits still for a period of time between two blockers, the referee will stop play, and it's no point awarded going back to the previous server.
It's back to 7-6. Peters. That one just fired long.
You can forgive those kinds of errors from Peter because she's going back to that service line and she's absolutely wailing on the ball. Now, she's accurate most of the time. One error you can let slide, but you can't keep allowing that in a game like this. We're now tied up 7-7. You need all the points you can get.
It's tight on the net, but it's made into a beautiful set out wide. And ELLIS with a gorgeous line shot.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about ELLIS much yet. She's a massive hitter. She's so experienced. She's been playing sitting volleyball for a really long time. She's also big. She has a great volleyball IQ. She sees the court really well, and Brazil's just not in position, and she's able to just pick them apart.
That's in her third Paralympic Games. Actually started playing back in 2007. It was her first experience. There she's helping her team at the net alongside Oaks.
Yeah, that's a great hustle in by Canada.
Well, 2 points in a row here, and that is enough for Brazil to say, right, we need to have a chat about this. It's 9-7, timeout call for Brazil. There's some of the Canadian supporters. Been here the whole period of time since Canada first started. As have the Brazilian supporters. They do like to make some noise. Both sets do. Which team can take and absorb the energy from this crowd here in North Paris Arena, which is now sold out. It's packed out here for this bronze medal match. And it's an overpass. Oaks comes up with a kill.
Yeah, that's great control by Oaks there. She did a really good job of giving herself a little bit of space off the net. That allowed her to really wind up and swing at that ball. There was no Brazilian block, so the poor defenders in the back row really didn't have a chance.
Net touch given against Brazil. Well, Brazil was celebrating, thinking they got the point. It's come from the attacker, not the blocker. We'll see a replay of that or not. Referee just asking the Brazilian coach to calm down.
Yeah, it looked like to me Suellen caught the net when she followed through after she contacted that ball. Now, if it happens close enough to the top of the net, the referees will call that.
Duda has to work the ball across. And all ones, her hips and chest are rotating, and that helps the movement of the ball.
Yeah, it certainly does. She's able to really put her weight behind it, which puts enough power as she pushes that ball off of the block. It puts enough distance between the ball and the Canadian players.
Courtside assistants just mopping up any perspiration on the court. Ameya back to serve with Brazil 8-11 down, and she comes up with a serve.
Yeah, Pamela really bringing the power right now for Brazil. It's a brilliant serve right in between the Canadian receivers. They didn't move quickly enough. It didn't look like they had great side of the ball.
Bruna coming on for Suellen.
Number 1, Bruna.
Yeah, with the serve, kind of looking to attack quickly through the middle to the captain.
That's some really lovely volleyball there. A really nice pass off the net to the setter. And that allowed Melenka to do that quick set to Danielle Ellis, her hot hand at the minute. Canada are firing on all cylinders. It's really nice to see them playing like this.
Suellen back on. He takes the first ball well. Does get the touch off the block from Canada. Almost feels like it's a really important point for Brazil not to let Canada get away from a 3-point lead.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, you know, we're starting to get toward the middle of the match. As a team starts to pull further and further ahead at this point, it gets harder and harder to make up that gap before the end of the set. You only have till 25 points, and those things can happen really quickly.
Tattoos from Rio and Tokyo on the arms. Maybe there'll be a freeze on the arm of Duda after Paris 2024 comes to a close.
And that was some really smart play by Suellen. We've seen her really rip at the ball, really pound it, but this time she took a bit of that energy off. She dropped that thumb on her hand and just sent that ball, luckily, traveling along the top of that net and landing in the Canadian court.
Big aggressive swing. Ellis waits just to see that ball go out of play first of all before she celebrates with the team.
Yeah, that's another great swing from Ellis. She's almost unstoppable at this point. Now, Brazil have a little bit of an opportunity because Ellis is now in the back row, but now we see Heidi Peters moving into the front row, so now they've got her to reckon with. And what I really think Canada are struggling to do is they're struggling to put up good, solid blocks and return the Canadian serves. That
was a huge serve. Ellis with a 13th ace of the competition, and that's a massive one to the right side of Duda. Some firepower on that one. Change up of the serve this time down the line. Comes in with a reverse attack. Lifting cord against Canada on the block.
Yeah, that's a really key point again for Brazil. And what I think is happening is they're getting rewarded for their offense. They're finally starting to run a couple of plays. They're not doing anything too fancy, but what they're doing is they're forcing the Canadians now to move around the court, forcing them to go up for blocks, and ultimately, eventually, somebody's going to start making mistakes. But Brazil haven't put any pressure on Canada yet. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond if they continue this.
Suellen back to serve. Nice take. Peters waits. She loves that high ball. She can adjust, and just in her peripheral vision, she can see where that block's going, so you can find the hands.
Yeah, that was a really good adjustment. She showed a lot of discipline there. You can kind of see she really wanted to really nail that ball, but instead she readjusted and she went for those high hands, just getting that sure kill.
Lang with the serve, quick touch on 2. Held ball though on 2, given against Fiorese.
Now you can really see a sense of frustration here on the Brazilian side, like they're not doing as well as they want to, and some of the calls aren't going their way, but they've got to find a way to block that out and refocus in and control the things that they can control.
(14-16) here. Lana back on. They need her height and presence to the net. They need her to get into her best form that she can get. She's got 28 points in this competition so far. Block was too early. Canada waited and attacked.
Yeah, I mean, Brazil did really well to get hands up that time. They haven't been able to do that yet, so that's step 1, really. But the danger of putting your hands up early, especially on a player like Heidi Peters, is she's going to see those hands and she's going to know what to do with them.
Quick reactions. Let's been called.
2 thumbs up from the referee. That point will be replayed. 17-14 Canada.
Quick reactions from Fiorese. And Petit at the net. Read that so well. Oakes waits. There's an aggression about every swing coming from Canada. The intensity as well.
Yeah, Canada, that's exactly it. It's good, but it's controlled aggression. It's not aggression just wailing at the ball as fast as you can, hard as you can. They're being really smart. They're bringing a lot of control along with that speed, and the scoreboard is reflecting that. Brazil don't know what to do with it.
And then add to that, Peters come back to serve, and she continues with an ace serve.
One of the things that I really, really enjoy about watching the Canadian team play is seeing the relationships that they have with one another. They seem to have a really supportive team. They're always there for each other, there with a smile, a pat on the back, don't worry about it, we'll get it next time. And that's really important in a sport like volleyball because you can't play it without your teammates.
Duda smartly played off the block and out of court. Well, you're quite right, when it goes well for Canada, they do have this unified approach. And Brazil aren't quite so unified at the moment. They're looking a bit 6s and 7s.
Yeah, but the thing that Brazil also have is they have leaders like Duda, like Petit. So what they need are those people to step up and be those leaders and get those big points like what Duda just did. They need a reason to celebrate. They're a really emotional team. They're at their best when they're all amped up. They need to find a way to get that.
Incredible pickup for the first time by Filomena. Brazil looking to steal the points that they can. Canada come back with the captain. That's a huge block. That's a massive point for Brazil. What a rally.
Finally able to get that block up. Amazing movement by Duda. She's able to get those hands over at the last minute. Ellis doesn't see her there.
That pickup from Filomena early on, out on the right-hand side.
Brilliant play by Brazil.
Well, timeout called for Canada. Well, the crowd enjoying themselves here. Bronze medal up for grabs. And at the moment, Canada, well, they have their 2-point lead, but that point has brought Brazil back together. You talk about leaders, that togetherness then on that point was brilliant for them. And Oakes comes up and shuts Brazil down straight away with the speed.
Yeah, Oakes has great vision of the net. She went up for a set. She probably was going to set, but when she saw there wasn't any hands up, she's just going to take that fast point, and that's why Canada are so far ahead. They're taking advantage of every opportunity that Brazil are giving them.
Suellen looks to the hands, it's thrown back again into the corner. Oakes, inspired by Oakes.
What a brilliant play. Really, really smart. Again, amazing court awareness. Really good of Canada to see where those holes were. Just get rid of that ball nice and easy and send it to the right spot. That's all you need sometimes.
Big serve from deep. Just gone long into the corner. It's that 3-point gap again. Gizele coming back in.
Substitution for Brazil. Coming into the game is number 18, Fioresi, replacing number 11, Nuria.
Canada boys waiting, just as they get the table sorted. That's 5 substitutions made by Brazil. They've got 1 left in this set, should they wish to make it. Chance here for Canada. ELLIS, that left hand's pointing almost a set to say, put it just there and I'll follow through and put it away.
Yeah, that is what it looks like. But once again, and I'm not really sure what happened there, you saw a couple of Brazilian hands come down. Or no, they just weren't in position. Suellen just sat out there on the outside of the court.
Well, the work that Oakes has done at the net, the blocker's holding onto her, and that's just taking almost a 1-on-1 out wide now.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages of the type of system that Canada run with a back row setter that keeps 3 hitters. They use their middle a lot, so that keeps that middle blocker focused.
Unfortunate call for Brazil there, held ball. Thought they kept it alive. That was a nice reverse set. But Gizele being called for the carry. 2 points required for Canada to take a 2-0 lead here against Brazil.
Rappelez-nous, qui est au soutien de l'équipe du Canada?
Well, you can see the coaching staff with their tablets for Canada. They've got all the court positions of where Brazil are attacking and the preparation that goes in behind the scenes now. Not just, obviously we see it in all sports, but here in the city of volleyball, the coaching staff is so important, isn't it?
Yeah, they're so important because I think one of the things that the coaching staff are able to provide is, one, just a bit of a solid presence. They're solid as a rock. They're there. The players can kind of lean on them if they have to. But the other thing that they're able to do is they can sit there and watch where the opponent is sitting, where they're defending, where they're attacking from, and they can feed that back to their team and just give them that little edge.
ELLIS secures the point, and it's set point here for Canada. They pulled away, and now they'll be serving for a 2-0 lead in the bronze medal match here at the Paralympic Games. Oakes has it. Calming blow of breath before she delivers the serve. Suellen pushes it deep. Chance here for Canada to take it, and Allison Wang secures the second set for Canada. Well, they're in dreamland right now. Canada lead by 2-0.
Tiens, regardez, on continue à faire la fête, c'est l'Arena Paris Nord. Sortez vos téléphones, allumez les flashs, on va chanter tous ensemble, c'est l'heure du karaoké géant. Les parents
Confirmation then of the set score so far. Well, no surprises to the lineup for Canada. No changes. Nothing to change for Canada. They are really happy with the way they're playing. They're scoring heavily on their points. They're blocking well, and 12 aces in the game so far. Canadian supporters there just checking their phone for the stats. Yep, that's the correct stats. For Brazil. Well, we see Bruna coming on for Brazil. She's receiving a little bit of an ice pack to the back of her neck and a little bit of treatment in the last set, so she didn't get to play much. Hope she's all right to start. The coach says so. Janaina comes back in to start the game for Brazil alongside Duda. Set number 3, Canada serving, and they start off with an ace serve.
Yeah, once again, ELLIS just finding that space in between the Brazilian receivers, and Brazil's not moving. They're not reacting to the ball, and it's just really frustrating to see. You just want to will them to move to that ball.
Petit. Well, nothing petit about that swing.
No, that was a great swing from the captain, and I think Brazil can really count on her sometimes to bring out those points when they really, really need them. I think what Brazil need to do here is they need to really bring some fire, even if the points aren't always going their way. They need to stay up. They need to be really energized, and that might throw Canada off just enough to allow them to get some points in. But, I mean, with a run like this.
This was off the fingers. I mean, Brazil are struggling to score, aren't they? When you talk about the captain, she's only on 4 points. Suellen only on 7 so far. They just haven't had it go their way so far. But also, Canada haven't let them.
No, that's exactly it. Canada haven't allowed them to get their offense running because they can't get the ball up. Canada are absolutely blasting at it, but they're also putting it in all the right places. They're doing everything right so far.
Yes, the touch off. Well, we did say at the start, if they can play like they played against China, they've got a really good chance.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they've managed to do here. They're bringing their A game, and they've really peaked at exactly the right minute. We talk about that sometimes in a run-up to a tournament like the Paralympic Games. You don't want to peak too soon because you kind of play your best at the beginning and not at the end of the tournament when you need to, and they've timed this brilliantly.
Error against lifting from Bruna. They also played each other in the pool stages, so what will Canada and Brazil learn about each other then in that match? Because obviously it might not mean anything at the point in the pool stages, but now it's kind of advantage to Canada, isn't it?
The advantage is absolutely to Canada, and this is the match that counts. So even if Canada lose to Brazil in the pool play, oh well. They still finished second. That was enough to get into the semifinals, and here they are.
But they would have exploited or would have found out through all the stats some of the weaknesses for both teams, how they're serving, how they're playing. Again, still early stages, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that I think a lot of teams know about Brazil is they're really emotional, they're really passionate. Now, that works really well in their favor sometimes, but it can also be something that teams can exploit. Canada come out, they absolutely whale the ball, they bring a lot of energy, and Brazil just can't really get that energy going on their own side, and that's kind of set the pace for the rest of this match for them.
Another incredible line shot there by Jennifer Oakes. Just waited, let the ball drift across before she went down the line. They lead 4-3 here in the third set, and by 2 sets to love. And on comes Peters to serve. Brazil will be looking if they can turn this point around and get Peters off the service line. Ellis keeps it alive. She looks to unload again. Great defense by Duda. Duda now has the opportunity to wipe off the hands. A good, clever push.
Really clever push from Duda, and she's bringing that energy again and again. That wasn't the easiest ball to do something with. There were 2 Canadian blockers over the net in front of her, but she was able to make something happen.
Animated conversation between the coach and Libero. Bruna serving deep. Another positional error, this time on serve. Well, it's almost careless from Brazil to not be in the right position. So wrong side of Filomena and Petit. Well, 3 point for Canada. They won't mind that at all. Oh, that was close.
Yeah, that was a lucky break for Brazil. 1 free point exchanged for another. But they can wipe the slate clean. It's 5-5. It's almost like we're starting over. Now it's a game of 20. They really have to come out with energy, though. This is the thing that they're desperately needing.
That's a nice line serve. Just catches the elbow of Melenka. Free ball over for Brazil. Filomena doesn't get the touch. Well, the second referee looked like he signaled there was a touch.
Yeah, it's
which
really
is what
hard
his signal to his chest was, but the first referee has overridden that. Which is why Brazil coach was saying, go and talk to him, tell him what you've seen. The decision is made by the first referee. And it's an ace serve this time for Jennifer Oakes. Ricocheting around the defenders of Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, once again, I've said it many times already, the Canadians are doing such a good job of putting their serves into empty space around the Brazilian players. They're not moving, they're reaching for the ball, they're not able to get quality touches on that.
Well, the block on the serve for Brazil.
That was a really, really good move on that block.
Only their second block all game, which for Brazil is almost unheard of.
Yeah, and let's not forget, they're the world champions. They're not really playing like it right now. They've got to find a way to really dial into their offense and their defense as well.
Pushes deep, but it's too central to Peters. Rolls off the leg of Filomena.
That's a brilliant set there by Oak. She's traveling as she's touching that ball. She's putting it in a brilliant position. A really good setter is such an asset to their team.
ELLIS, a big, powerful serve. Filomena tries to swipe it off the block. But in the end, Petit comes up, and we need more of that for Brazil if they're continue in this game and fight for this bronze medal.
Yeah, that was a lovely ball. Peters, I think she thought she was going to go off high hand. She held back, she kept her hands down, but you can't do that for a player like Petit. She's got so much power, so much height. She's going to slam that ball straight down.
Peters. Well, the blocks are coming in now, thick and fast for Brazil.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot better movement in the net, a lot better penetration.
Bruna was outstretched wide, but did well to get her hands underneath the ball.
Yeah, she sure did. It's really hard to do that when you're stretched outside of your center of your body. You really don't have a good foundation.
Well, Liana doesn't often get back to serve. Normally, Mamea comes on to serve and play along the back line for her, but not this time. She does fire up the long serve. Canada leading 9-8. The captain, the queen of the blocks for Brazil.
Yeah, look how big she is. I mean, middle of her forearm and up. She's so strong.
They were like magnetic hands, weren't they? Just attracted the ball.
Yeah, they sure were.
9-9. Good aggressive serve. Read on the block. This time it is Suellen.
Yeah, now we're seeing a bit of a changing of the tides here. Brazil finally putting a bit of pressure on Canada. They're shutting down some of their offense. They're getting those blocks up. Canada are now responding in kind. They're trying a little bit harder. They're trying to shove that ball over, and they're making mistakes. And this is what Brazil are going to get from that.
Well, Brazil didn't get any blocks in the first set, got one block in the second set. Now, at 11-9, they've had 4 blocks. Aggression from the service line.
Yeah, this is the Brazilian team. We're starting to see them. We're starting to see them count. We'll see if they can maintain this. Now, what Canada are going to have to do here is they're going to have to make sure that they contain their energy, they stay focused, they stay resilient, because you don't want to start flailing around and panicking. They're going to let a lot of points go that way. So they've just got to recenter and go back to where they were a few points ago.
Well, the timeout for Canada. They find themselves down by 2 points for the first time. And it's another big reaction at the net. Well, Bruna had ice on her shoulders in the second set. And she's got ice running through her veins now at the net.
Yeah, I mean, another thing that Brazil are helping themselves out with by being aggressive like this is Canada is not used to it. They've been playing with relative ease against Brazil because they've not been putting that pressure on, and they're not really sure how to handle it.
Well, Brazil are doing to Canada what Canada did to Brazil the last 2 sets.
That's exactly right. And, you know, with a team like this, they're super experienced, they're really strong, and they know themselves. They've played together for a really long time. So you know, I feel for Canada at the moment, but it's really nice to see Brazil wake up.
Better ball in for Canada. They've got wave of attacks coming in. There is a net touch given against the block on Bruna. Just across the tape, she's caught her arms.
Yeah, you can see that when she follows through. She just kind of snaps her hands forward a little bit. But to show that's okay. I'd be okay with that because it's a sign of aggression. It's a sign of effort. We'll take that.
MELENKA serving. Little tip. Very smart play from the captain. Draws the error also from Canada. Petit back to serve. Well, it's another side out for Canada to try and close the gap if they can here in the third set, 11-14.
Yeah, once again, that was some really smart play there. Oaks wasn't really very well balanced when she went up for that ball. She just knuckled it just hard enough to get it over that block, and it just landed in the right spot. She didn't have a real chance of swinging at that and getting a point.
Now, Canada could do with a serving run from Peters here. Well, they get another go here because KOZUN gets a big block. The game's back within 2.
Yeah, KOZUN doing very well to set up on the outside there. She lined up really nicely with Duda's shoulder. She saw exactly what she had in mind. She shut down Duda, and more importantly, she gave the ball back to Heidi Peters at the service line.
14 aces so far for Canada. This one won't be an ace, but Duda's going to have an opportunity to go off their hands. Ellis gets herself back in position. Oaks is there at the net, but lifting called. And this is the aggression you talked about with Brazil in the block, but it's that over.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got they're kind of riding a wave of energy here, but they've got to control that. They have to stay disciplined. I feel like a broken record, really. They've got to keep those errors to a minimum. Canada are now within 1 point.
Colban wanted a response in that timeout. She's got that so far. How did Brazil respond here? They can't put the ball away. They get a second chance to. It's pushed deep to the corner. Oaks over again. They can't leave her alone in the middle. Brazil haven't learned that lesson yet.
No, that's some brilliant play by Oaks. Not a hand anywhere on that net. Now, when a player like that has shown you what she's capable of, the middle blocker's job is to stay on top of that and cover it.
Suellen off, and earlier on, and she wasn't up to speed on that first touch, but she's got a nice set there. Well taken by Canada. Nice little push. That's a great hustle on the touch by Peters. Couldn't quite bring it back into play, but smart, intelligent play from Brazil.
Yeah, that's some really intelligent play from Brazil. And not only that, we need to talk about the receptions of these serves by Heidi Peters. She is wailing on the ball. They've got brilliant control, giving their setters a nice high pass, and that's letting them get an offense running.
Bruna with the serve from deep. Oaks into the middle. Well, she's got the blocked. Quick touch over. Liana, well, she's got power. We know how strong she can be. KOZUN's got the angle.
Yeah, Duda not able to close that block there. That just opened that net up. Now, the ball was pretty tight. KOZUN did really well to control that and keep that in the court. She did a really good job of positioning her body behind the ball, giving herself that angle.
First task has been completed by Canada. They've leveled the game. The set has been dominated by Brazil, and now is the ace serve from Julie Anne KOZUN.
Yeah, once again, right between those servers, and what that does is that forces those those receivers to have a conversation with each other. That adds a delay, gives an opportunity for an error. It's brilliant placement.
Is there a touch here? It's not given. So a couple of errors now for Brazil. And Canada have turned this set around. They lead by 2 now.
Yeah, and once again, you can see we've only kind of, continued a few points down the line, and already the body language is changing on these teams again. Canada's back where they started. Brazil's still a little bit low. They're still swinging, though.
And a wild swing from Suellen. She's just caught the wrong side of the line here. Brazil have called a timeout. They're down by 3 at the back end of the third set in a game that Canada are leading by 2 sets to 0. So if you're Brazil now, as a player going back on court, you find yourself 2 down, some decisions have gone against you, and the way the team's playing, what has to happen now? What do you do as a player on court?
You've got to focus on the things that you can control. You've got to dial back in, pay attention to what's on the court. Don't worry about the ref. Don't worry about what your coach is doing or what the fans are doing. It's the errors that are killing Brazil now, and they're not moving.
This one's gone into the block. That's a nice block from Canada. Well, Brazil know they can't change what's happened. Anything that's happened so far at this point is that reset. But they've got that thought process going through their head that's dragging them through, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I think, look at them sat on that court. They're all completely separate players right now. They're staring forward. They're not coming in to support each other. And that's what they need. They need that emotional bond between each other to carry them through this run of 4 points.
Nice pressure, deep serve. Has it got the touch? No touch given again. Suellen can't get a break on that. And now it's 5 points.
Substitution for Brazil.
Liana goes off. Amaya coming on. KOZUN continues this run of serves, and now it's extended to 5 points. They were 14-15 down. 6 in a row for Canada. This one's just long. Well, they won't mind that too much. She's done a really good job pushing them deep, drop a couple of serves short.
Yeah, they won't mind that at all. And I think this is a lucky break for Brazil, but they've got to protect the ball. They need to keep Suellen on the back line. She's a huge server for them.
Quick reactions. But ELLIS is there waiting, just over the net, and puts it away beautifully.
Yeah, really good reactions from some of the Brazilians. But you've got to put the ball over a little bit more definitively than that, especially when you have such a big blocker like Ellis sat there in the middle.
That's just bread and butter for Ellis. Rare error from Oaks. Into the bottom of the net.
Yeah, it looked like that was a bit of a missed throw when she tossed the ball to herself. And again, this is a lucky point, an easy side out for Brazil. But whether or not they're going to capitalize on that is the question.
Trying to at least find that Brazil back that we've seen in the first third of this set. Captain into the block. Thrown back over, but lifting also a given against Brazil. Dee's having a laugh about it now.
So I think it's on this touch here. Yeah, look at that. She's in that light purple area of the court. She's in front of the 2-meter line. She has to be on the floor when she contacts that ball, whether she's blocking or hitting or digging.
That torso, the trunk of the body, it has to be touching, doesn't it?
It does, yes. And those referees are looking for that. That's their job.
Well, there's no stopping Canada right now. They've weathered the storm that Brazil had and those blocks and those services that came in. And now Melenka is all over that one. Canada are 2 away from a bronze medal here at the Paralympic Games. Now I think they believe in it.
I think they do. I think we all believe in it now. But I think this is also, you know, the game is not over. Their job is not finished. They're 2 points away. Brazil are only trailing them by a few more points than that. Now, when you get to this point, it's really easy to say, oh, we're almost there. We've got this. And you get a little bit lax. You start to kind of settle into the court. You're not moving as fast. And it's easy to kind of brush away the points because you've got a bit of a cushion. But a team like Brazil, if they just even get a couple of good plays, they're going to give them enough energy they could run away with this still.
We're just seeing the squad together listening for Canada. The rumble in the jungle here. Feels like a juggernaut's about to take off. Canada looking, that's quick thinking, but no! Lifting called against Filomena. 24-17. Bronze medal match point for Canada for their first Paralympic medal ever in women's sitting volleyball. And it's their captain ready to serve. A chance on a free swing. The touch is there. It's drifted wide. Match point saved. 18-24. Canada have the swing. 3 touches away from a bronze medal. Oaks gives the call. Pamela with the serve. And they've done it! Canada take bronze here in Paris!
I mean, look at those smiles. They're telling the whole story for us. This is an incredible moment for Team Canada.
They came here to Paris to medal. And boy, did they deliver. The touch off the hand of Bruna, replayed. But the celebrations can now begin. We confirm Canada take the bronze medal in a really dominant match against Brazil, 25-15, 25-18, 25-18. They came into this game with a plan and they stuck to it. Well, Canada exact revenge from Tokyo. Brazil finished 4, and Canada, as they shake hands with their opposition, Canada take the bronze medal here at the 2024 Paralympic Games.
And you can see it in the stats here, Mark. Canada came out firing on all cylinders. They were doing everything right, but that was because they were staying disciplined, they were moving well, their communication was great, but they came out swinging and blocking and serving. They just were relentless against this Brazilian team.
Well, there's a confirmation bronze medal for Canada here in Paris.